Hello and welcome back to the land of SIKA, and we're here on the policies screen. Alright, here we go. Now this is obviously something that I did way back when we were still part of the Lamoka, but I actually did not do anything about it when I created my faction. Mostly because I'm actually spending influence on making vassals, because I thought that might actually be a little bit more important, possibly. I don't know, one way or another. We're going to obviously have to do something about this. So I'm going to enact the noble retinues policy. Everyone seems to be, well, everyone. I say everyone, but yeah, the one person that was actually on my side is in favor of it. No one is opposing it, so that's very nice. We can go straight forward with that, and we can also go straight forward with Sacred Majesty as well. But however, I'm actually thinking that we want something a bit different. We want something that is actually going to increase our loyalty. So I'm talking about things like Tribunes of the People. Also, there is another one. I can't remember what it is. I think it is Forgiveness of Debts. Yep, Forgiveness of Debts. Now, you can see here, they don't want this, right? They don't want this. But I'm going to actually take this just purely for the fact that I want my loyalty to be incredible. I want a massive amount of loyalty. Obviously, bear in mind, what we're going to do is we're going to eventually get most of these things, if we can, not debasement of the currency, in my opinion. I don't really like that much, but generally, most of these things we're probably going to get. For example, something like this, Imperial Towns, in my opinion, is very good, because you can see here, towns held by the ruler clan gain 1 loyalty and 1 prosperity per day. In my opinion, that's amazing, because it makes everyone fantastic. It makes the town very, very happy. Unfortunately, towns held by the non-ruler clans lose loyalty per day. So they lose 0.3 loyalty, which is exactly the reason why I wanted to get Forgiveness of Debts, because that gives 2. So theoretically, with this, you're gaining 1.7, even if you take Imperial Towns. So it's great, in my opinion. I mean, there's just nothing you can say about it that would be a downside. Yeah, sure, it gives the town 5% less or whatever, but for me specifically, I really just don't care. I don't care about 5%, 5% is 5%, and I'd much rather make sure that our towns are looked after really, really nicely. And speaking of that, oh yeah, I'm gonna be attempting to take Tianlong back from the Rabblam, and then we will probably try to make peace with them. Alright, so this is obviously going to be a little bit problematic. I do have noble retinues now, so theoretically I have a slightly higher company size, and well, I just don't have the people for it, really. I just don't have the units at the moment yet, but we are going to be converting people over time, and hopefully we will be able to do something with that. And apart from that, the Rabblam are of course probably going to try and murder us. So the best thing that we can do is stay one step ahead of them. Oh yeah, and that means, you know what that means? That means we will just try to capture absolutely every single thing we can, and I should really return to my settlement when all is said and done. In other words, when we have made peace with a couple of people, maybe when we declare war against the Lamoka again, when we're a little bit stronger, because obviously at the moment we're pretty strong right now, but I gotta say that I would not want to fight them and the Rabblam as well as the PROUEN at the same time. That is probably not going to be very advisable at the best of times anyway, but you never know. Anyway, I need an excuse, basically. I need an excuse to be able to go back to my settlement at the moment, because otherwise I'm basically just going to be leaving the war zone for nothing. And if we can make peace with these two factions, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Making peace with these two factions would be fantastic, because then I would have a small respite. It would allow me to go to my settlement. It would allow me to do a couple of things in terms of kingdom management. It would allow me to get some influence up and running, like natural passive influence. And by the way, yeah, Tailworlds just released the full version of 1.8. So it's not in beta anymore, and it has now been transferred to the main branch, on Steam at least. I think it is. I think it's only, isn't it only on Steam? I'm not sure whether it's on Epic or GOG or anything like that, but generally for me, it has made things a bit strange in the way that the game is now, because before I was able to load into battles really quite quickly, not super fast, obviously, but you know, quite quickly. I wouldn't have to wait for more than, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds sometimes. But now it's a lot longer. Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure what they changed, because it was basically just the beta branch being pushed to the main branch, which kind of makes me a little bit weirded out, because it shouldn't have really changed anything, but apparently it changed something, and as a result I am now having situations where I'm having to wait upwards of 1 minute just to load into the game. Obviously, here's the thing now. Yeah, 1 minute is not really that long, but considering it would usually be almost instant for me to load in, it's a pretty significant difference. That's the reason why I mentioned that, because maybe some of you are also experiencing the same kind of issue. I know some people are still having issues actually even, you know, loading the mod. And yeah, generally that sucks, you know, that sucks. And it's not being made easier by, you know, versions being updated and changed and so on and so forth. Obviously it needs to be done, because that is obviously what the game is, you know, it's in a state of constant improvement and so on and so forth. But, you know, those kinds of situations. Oh, well, I didn't mean to do that, so I'm just going to wait until my forces just get the gate down. I mean, technically you can phase through the wall, as I've shown multiple times in other series, by the way. I never usually use it to exploit the game in any single fashion. I basically just use it for fun if we are assuredly going to win or something like that. And you can see here that, I mean, literally we are probably going to win this. I mean, there's not really any I don't think there's any question about us actually being able to win this particular siege, but it's pretty fun to be able to zone through the wall sometimes and just have a little bit of fun with it, just mess around a bit. But yeah, otherwise, as I say, yeah, versions being updated and so on and so forth, that is going to happen because the game indeed is still in early access. So of course it is going to have those kinds of things happen. But I can only hope that the loading times are not going to happen that often. I'm talking about, you know, loading into a battle. Hopefully that has now been done. In other words, hopefully I don't need to load into a battle every single time and for it to take a long amount. But, well, we'll see. We'll see in the next one, won't we? Yes, we'll see in the next one. Anyway, there's a nice little bit of renown for us right there. Let's just have a quick look. Okay, there actually isn't anything for me there. I will be taking all the loot. Morenia Castle has been taken. Gonna show mercy once again. I generally always tend to do that. And what we're also going to be doing is I'm basically just going to be slapping a whole bunch of money in there, and then they can do whatever they want with it once the voting comes in. I actually don't want to leave this right now. Wait a minute, what just happened here? Oh, the Waltus are being destroyed by the rabblam. That actually doesn't bode very well for me, because that means that the rabblam were very distracted up until this point, and they are assuredly going to be making their way over to me. What do you bet? They probably will be coming over here pretty soon. I don't want this myself. I'm not entirely sure why they're giving this to me. I don't really want this myself, so I'm actually going to be giving this to this fellow. There we go. I do not want to dedicate units to the garrison here. That is the only reason why I would do that. Okay, so you can see here, we would have to pay 100 tribute per day to make peace with the rabblam. Obviously, that is something that I would very much take. I would like to be able to make peace with them, but there's one more final objective that I would like to do before that happens, and that is to take this town right here. They took it away from us at the very beginning of... Actually, yeah, they took it away from us when we were still part of the Lamoka, and then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, you know? I'm gonna go for it, we're gonna see what we can do, And it seems like we were able to actually do something and actually create our own faction and survive relatively well, surprisingly enough. I'm actually kind of surprised. Morenia Castle has now been besieged by the PROUEN. I am not sure whether I really care about the castle that much. I would like to take the town much more. I think that's kind of more important, more useful. Because once I've taken this, I can make peace with the rabblam, and then I only have to focus on what the PROUEN are doing. And in my opinion, that actually makes the whole deal much more sense, so I don't really see the point in me going back over there to defend it. I mean, generally I could, but why? You know, the question is why. There doesn't seem to really be any reason why I would do that. Morenia Castle, while it is a pretty decent... Oh, it's being defended. Haha. Okay, that's pretty cool. But yeah, while it is a pretty decent fief to have, it is definitely not something that I am prioritizing right now in comparison to the town of Tianlong, because this is obviously going to consolidate our you know, entire territory basically, and it's going to make things so much easier for us in the long run. And we can always take back Morenia Castle without too many issues. And yeah, as you can see, look at this. Yeah, that took a while. That took a while. I'm not entirely sure what they've done with the loading screens. It's a bit I don't know, a bit weird, because you'd think that the loading screens would just get faster and faster as time goes on, but there must be something that is causing them to be a little bit slower. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but well, I can only have faith that they're going to you know, fix all these things and iron out all the kinks and try to make sure that everything is working as it should be. And I'm just gonna speed things up. Oh yeah, I did that. I did it again. Okay, let me actually just see what happens here. Right. Okay. Yeah. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Where are the ladders? There they are. Yeah, don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Come on now. I'm friendly. I'm friendly. I'm friendly. Are you serious? Okay, you are... Why am I still picking this up? Come on now. Okay. Yeah, the rabblam annoying me, okay? The rabblam annoy me. They are some of those kinds of units, you know? They generally tend to be in the worst possible position every single time you want to do something. They are always there, and they're just in that particular place just to be annoying, you know? Just a slightly bit of it, you know? It's just... it's one of those things. It's one of those things that tends to happen quite often. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but... yeah, they really grind my gears quite badly, but yeah, now that we're here, we should be okay. Hopefully I'm going to be able to kill these archers. I am taking very little damage. I'm actually very surprised that we're not taking that much damage. Anyway, there's an arrow barrel right here. I'm going to try and maximize the amount of damage I can deal to these guys. Hopefully we can kill the catapult users. Thank you very much. And yeah, these guys are now running away. I mean, as soon as we get into the walls, it's basically game over for them. You know, that's the whole point. That's the reason why I was thinking to myself, wow, how are we supposed to get in here? Because they have catapults. Didn't actually see that. If I had seen that they had catapults, I would have tried to maybe build some ballistas or something like that to try and eliminate them. Because, let's face it, it's very difficult to get to the walls if the enemy has catapults in defense. Amusingly enough, though, I don't know whether you remember, but there was actually that time when we were defending a couple of episodes back, and they got to the walls with their siege equipment. I'm not entirely sure how they were able to get to the walls with their siege equipment, but we are never able to do it, but I guess that's just how it goes sometimes, isn't it? Anyway, it seems like the enemy forces are now very badly dwindling, and we should be absolutely fine to speed things up. And I think that is indeed a... Isn't that a victory for us? What's actually going on here? Why are my forces just standing here? It's because they're all retreating. That's the reason. Yeah, they're all retreating. Okay, so obviously, as we've seen, Darkwave Knights cannot become vassals, whereas eggplants can. Because they're Yan Dynasty for some reason. Probably because they're wearing the Yan Dynasty armor, and that's where the you know, the custom, you know, the distinguished service mod takes from what armor they're wearing to determine their culture. I assume that's probably what it is. But yeah, we won't be able to do anything with that right now because I don't have any additional companion space still. But obviously I could, you know, install a mod to do that if I wanted to, but personally I'd like to just leave it the way it is. If we have too many companions, it's just going to get out of hand. We're going to be a little bit too strong, you know, a little bit too strong. I mean, right now we're pretty strong as it is. I mean, we're able to win battles, not terribly, you know, pretty simply, shall we say? And I think the only way at this point that we can be defeated is if we either make a mistake in regards to engaging a person that is just way too strong for us to deal with, or making a mistake tactically or strategically in some way or another. That has happened and can happen quite easily. And let's actually just take a quick look here. Wait a minute. Okay. We're going to vote. And they want me to have this. I don't really want to have this. Dongzhu. Let's give it to this guy. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make peace with the rabblam, even though I have a huge amount of them prisoner. We're really 370? Are you serious right now? I literally have look at this. Look at this. I have 21 of these guys prisoner, and they are refusing to pay me any money, which is really funny. I don't even understand why that would even be the case. I mean, look at this. They have a massive amount of territory still, which, all things considered, yeah, they no doubt have a pretty significant amount of confidence in themselves, which is perfectly fine. Don't have an issue with that. But what I do have an issue with is we literally have 21 of their vassals. I'm very surprised that they are still wanting to fight. Anyway, this town has now come under siege by someone? By the rabblam. Okay, by the rabblam. So what we're going to do is we're going to head on over there as soon as possible. And look at this guy. He's running around with an army. Ooh, wow. Okay, hello there. Hello. All right, this is... Okay, this is real bad. See, now this is what I'm talking about. These are the kinds of situations where I am thinking to myself, how are we going to do this? How am I going to defeat all of these armies? I mean, they have 3 separate armies from the PROUEN here. I mean, I could make peace with them. See, now here's the main issue. If I make peace with the rabblam and I pay them 360 tribute per day, which I really don't want to do. I mean, we're already making a massive amount of money from the Aryans as well as the Lamoka. I mean, you can see that quite clearly here. We're making 2,100 roughly from each of them, which is super nice, in my opinion. But the one thing that I really didn't want to do was make peace with the PROUEN. Because making peace with the PROUEN right now, it's obviously going to cost me a lot of money, which I don't really want to pay them. But apart from that, they are the closest ones to us, as you see here. So, if, for example, if I wanted to take, let's say that I wanted to go, I think strategically the best way to go would be up here, because this is separated by this big watery grave. Let's just say that. It's a watery grave for anyone that wants to come over here and try and defeat us here. But yes, anyway, we're separated by that, and it would be a lot easier for us to take this than it would for us to be able to go here and try and take that. But, you know, because that's the thing. Then the rabblam are nearby, they're going to be interfering, and so on and so forth. But if we made peace with the rabblam, obviously that wouldn't make any difference, but it would still make more sense for us to go over here and take this stuff, because it is separated by this bridge as well, so they have to go across this bridge and this river. It's a bit of a natural bottleneck, so suffice it to say. And so you're not going to really have that many difficulties dealing with a lot of units coming over from this direction instead. Which is obviously where we would want to expand, if you see what I mean. Hopefully you see what I mean. Anyway, let me just take a quick look. I don't know whether I should even... Okay. I'm gonna see what happens here. I am thinking that... Are you wanting to fight these guys? You want to fight? Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just help him out. I mean, I didn't really want to go in here right now. I was actually thinking that I would just let him do the battle against the rabblam, and then for me to fight the PROUEN. That kind of made the most sense to me, but okay. Ooh, now this is cool. Oh, I'm liking this. All right, this is very, very fun. All right, so this massive bridge in the very, very center of the map here, very cool looking. Definitely going to be super nice to place our units at the mouth of this on the one side. And I can assume that the enemy is probably going... Please let them come from over there. Yes, they're coming from the other side. Ooh, this is very nice. I like it. Okay. These are the kinds of battlefields that I really, really want to see more of. And there's even a small little land cropping here with a bunch of, shall we say, rudimentary crossings made out of wood. And they can literally cross over that if they want an alternative route. So obviously it's not just the bridge that is going to force enemies into a almost impenetrable bottleneck, depending on, you know, your army's composition and so on and so forth. But it's pretty amazing to see that they have given 2 different tactical options to cross the river, and they can decide whatever they want to do, which is great. And the spectacle of this is going to be immense. You have horses riding over the bridge, and they're going to get, well, I mean, they're not going to get stuck, but they are certainly going to think twice before actually charging into our units. Yeah, they're already running away. And technically what I could do is if I had some cavalry, I think I have I actually have, what? Oh yeah, I have 92, oh yeah, I forgot about those guys. Yeah, okay. So let's actually tell them to follow me right quick. So we'll get them over here. And we'll tell these guys to follow me as well. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead a little bit of an expeditionary force. We're going to send our infantry over the bridge straight. And then we're going to take our horses over the rudimentary, like, you know, environmental bridge, which is just made of sand and some wood and so on and so forth. So let's see what we can actually do with that. So I'm going to put my infantry on the bridge. And then we'll go across here. I'm going to see what we can actually do with this. Let's tell our archers to auto-delegate. Don't really want to command them while I'm commanding everyone else. It's kind of annoying to do that. So what I'm going to do is we're now going to tell our infantry to charge in. We want them to charge in straight away. Look at the spectacle this is. Look at the enemy's cavalry. They're charging our infantry right now. Big mistake. That is a big mistake on their part. And I am now going to be going across here and hopefully being able to assault the enemy's archers while our infantry kill the enemies, well, whatever. Whatever they come across. Let's just say that. And now I can tell my cavalry to charge in, tell my horse archers to charge in, and we are now completely, absolutely eviscerating the enemy's archers. And look at my infantry right here. This is going to result in such a devastating victory. Wow. Yeah. See, now, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say I'd love to see more battlefields like this. Being able to go into a battle where we have these kinds of tactical options instead of... I mean, no disrespect, okay? No disrespect, because generally a lot of battlefields were just literally that. They were just fields where you did battle, you know, that's kind of why they're called that, I guess. But whatever the case, having these kinds of tactical options where there is quite clearly 2 different ways to go about things, or many different ways to go about things, because if you obviously take into account that maybe the enemy would have wanted to be a bit aggressive. If they wanted to be aggressive, then we would be the ones that would need to be very careful about how we positioned ourselves on the one side of the river. And then we would need to make sure that we don't get flanked, and so on. And I think that the tactical depth from merely having these 2 routes is exponentially increased in comparison to just having a standard little, you know, plains, foresty sort of area, and you can attack from anywhere. Because as it stands with that, there's only so much you can do, you know. I mean, obviously there's only so much you can do on this one as well, but what I'm trying to say is it just provides so much more opportunity for cool moments. And I mean, you saw exactly what happened there, you know. Our infantry charging straight in from the front, being complete beasts, you know, distracting the enemy's infantry, even distracting their archers to a certain extent, allowed me to go behind their lines, completely avoiding the enemy's infantry and just obliterating the archer line. That really made so much sense. And you could see here, look at how many losses we had. We literally had such little losses, just purely for the fact that our tactical options were just superior to the opponents, which I really very much like. Anyway, we're going to be taking them prisoner. We've got a lot of people that we can rescue. I don't know whether I even want to rescue anyone, to be honest. I don't think I do. Maybe they can be taken by the other army. I'm not entirely sure whether they even do that, but I don't really want to take them myself, all things considered. Actually, should I? You know what? Yeah, I'm just going to take them, and then I'll put them in the garrison. I'll just donate them into the garrison or something like that, because I don't really want to let them go to waste, you know, if the enemy decides, actually, if our allies decide, if they don't want to, you know, take them or anything like that. So we're just going to put them all in there, and they can always take them out of the garrison if they want to, whoever owns this. Okay, so 785, and there is actually someone over here. I think they're all heading over to besiege Shennan, which is obviously not something that we really want. Thank you. So we're going to have to do something about them. Ooh, my leadership has increased. Okay, that's fantastic. Let's increase my morale gain from victories by 20%. Okay, now here we go. Now this is the, I think probably this is the first time, maybe one of the first times that we have fought the PROUEN, and you can see here they dramatically outclass me. Alright, they are much stronger than I am, and I'm not entirely sure what kinds of units they have. I think they have archers. I'm not sure what they specialize in, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Let's see. Now, this is one of the more standard battlefields, and I'm not taking away anything from this. I love these kinds of battlefields as well, especially for horse archers. Horse archers are going to have an absolutely wonderful time. But strategically and tactically, you're not really going to have too many options here. Because for me, it's pretty much a case of infantry goes out the front. You're obviously going to have your one archer, in my case, behind the infantry. And then you're going to have your cavalry and horse archers following you, possibly. These are the kinds of strategies that you can employ in such a straightforward battlefield. Apart from that, what else can you do? I mean, there are a couple of options, of course, but generally, that's what you're mostly going to be able to do most of the time. Yeah, it seems like they do have elite longbowmen, so they're doing this really weird thing where they just go into that little circle formation. Doesn't really do much, in my opinion, but okay. Anyway, where are my horses? Oh, there they are. And where are my infantry? Oh, there they are. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is we will need to... I don't want to run in here. That's the problem, you see. I don't want to run in here because running in is definitely going to get us murdered. Ooh, this is... Okay, I guess we're just going to have to do it. We're just going to have to do it. There's nothing else I can do. That's the point. The AI is forcing us into this particular position, and I'm thinking, actually, you know what? Let's charge these guys over here. Try and eliminate one of the arms of the cavalry of the opponent. Maybe we're gonna be okay doing this. It seems like they're actually good at cavalry. PROUEN seems good at cavalry by the looks of things. Maybe they have lances and things like that. Yeah, that seems to be the case. They are very easy to kill. They seem to have low HP, so maybe they're just the regular units. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Okay, well, that's good to know. And where are my infantry? Yeah, my infantry are just basically standing around there. We're killing the one section of cavalry, and now we're just going to be charging our infantry as well, and they're just completely throwing their cavalry away at this point. If they had literally launched a joint assault with their cavalry against us. Oh, these guys all have pole arms. Okay, yeah, that's actually really, really damaging. But yeah, as I was saying, if they can literally do that, where they all work together to try and just murder us, you know, they could literally just charge straight on in, and if they all have lances, which it seems like they all do, they might even be able to get some extremely easy couch lance kills. And if you can utilize the fact that they can literally just go straight on in, charge, and then run away, build up speed, and then rinse and repeat back into us once again, it's gonna be, well, maybe a pretty easy way to deal damage to us. But as it stands, that doesn't seem to be what they wanted to do. They wanted to just, you know, keep the cavalry relatively separate, and that did not work out for them at all, as you can quite clearly tell. I'm just doing some massive damage with my polo right here. It seems like we have some rabblam here as well. Oh, careful. Yes, we still got some polearm users. Still have some polearm users. Did I tell my infantry to charge? Yes, I think I did. Just want to make sure that that is indeed happening. And I think that's it. I think that is pretty much it. And we lost a grand total of 4 units. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. The AI just didn't do it. They just didn't do what was necessary, you know, to make that work. Obviously, bear in mind, maybe should I try installing the realistic battle AI mod thing? I don't know. I've tried it once before and I didn't really like it that much, but I don't know. Maybe I should try it, because the AI at the moment is not really doing what they can to win, but I'm not entirely sure if they could even win at this point. I don't really want the experience of going into a battle to be irritating, because that's obviously not the point, you know. It's not the point in playing a game, you know, being irritated because the AI is doing something extremely annoying. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Maybe they have a couple of units that we might want to rescue. No, apparently not. But I will be taking most of them, because we are right next to the tavern. So I could technically go inside. There we go. Okay, that was just about timed, and there we go. Let's just take all of these. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not I'm not mistakenly putting in some of my really rare units or anything like that. There's 13,000 for us, and we can actually go in here and we can sell some stuff too. Unfortunately, I have so much armor that I literally will just bankrupt this thing in literally like 3 items or something like that. It's pretty crazy. Alright, so with that, that's going to be it for this episode. I assume there's going to be a siege defense, probably, coming in the next episode, because these guys are probably going to try and besiege us. And they are going to be joined by another army that has around 800 units. So we're looking at about 1,400 enemy units. And if they actually do the thing that the other force of Rabblam didn't do, in other words, if they actually build some siege equipment, they might be a little bit more successful. We'll see what happens. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.